When I think about educating design students, what is critically important to me is that they have opportunities outside the studio classroom and that they can apply their design thinking, design doing to real-world challenges. ZACHARY, actually, the location in Sao Paulo, Brazil, was brought to my attention by Juliana Bertolini, who became the co-instructor for the Design Matters in Brazil. Her group of students and my group of design students worked together to address the needs of this relatively young nonprofit organization.
I think before I went to Brazil, I didn't have a working definition of what social impact design was. So going down there and seeing culture and being immersed in a different world really opened my eyes to what longevity for a project looks like, to not just complete and check the boxes for design's sake, but to really set up opportunities for people to improve their lives themselves.
For me, the biggest takeaway was realizing how important design can be. I think a lot of people get caught up in the aesthetics of design and they are like, oh, make this pretty, make this look good. But the work we did was really meaningful and it was great to see design have an impact like that.
We could sit here all day and read about social impact design, but actually going to ZACHARY and seeing SOICU students work with Mackenzie students work on our projects, and then seeing the people at ZACHARY helping in and like painting different signs, and I really started to see like the community that we started to create.
Was actually one is to encourage more people to interact in this space. So with design itself, that people can engage and talk to each other, and which matches the design culture. That is a perfect example for how we cooperate between multicultures and backgrounds.
Since we were only planning to visit Brazil for a week, we developed designs that we could create in 1 week, but also that could continue to be created once we left the site.
The library project has a bunch of units that can be extended on, so each unit can be built and then connected to the unit that's already there. In the future, if they get the supplies, they can build another unit and extend it, make bookshelves to hold those books.
One way we really immersed ourselves in the Brazilian culture was by really looking into their culture and seeing how we could include traditional aspects and familiar aspects of their culture into our design. So for the bench project, for example, we looked into different materials, and we also looked at PVC tubing that was often used traditionally in Brazilian furniture, and we wanted to incorporate that into our project to create a sense of familiarity and inclusion and empowerment for the people of Brazil and the people of ZACHARY.
So doing wayfinding, we had to consider a lot of things that we didn't initially think we were going to have to consider, such as the fact that the people using it may not be able to read, so we had to include pictures and text, and we didn't expect the material for the wall to also be very uneven, so we had to adapt to that too.
We had to keep reminding ourselves to not be so rigid and sterile using so many grids, and sort of free up our design to make these wayfinding solutions to sort of match with their culture, which is a more free-flowing creative process and not coming at something with rollers and stencils. And I think that really shaped the project and how the wayfinding and all the other design solutions turned out.
There's people in this world that are not as privileged as us, and if we can be any help to them at all, then that's just an incredible experience. Doing something and handing it over, it's like a legacy that you can build that they can carry on once you leave.
This project meant a lot to me because I know what it feels like to not have a voice. So I wanted to be able to give the opportunity to have the situation people in Brazil to have a voice.
Designers can think outside the box and make a creative solution that will provide sustainability to have an impact for generations to come.